Welcome to Rowdy and Real with me, Sophie Shaw, hypnotherapist, Reiki master teacher, wellbeing coach, and slight loose cannon. I'll be sharing some life lessons and wisdom from the real world. If nothing else, it'll take your mind off your problems for a bit. And if we're really lucky, you might even hear something that helps you to make it better. So stick around for real talk, real growth, and some probable bad language. Let's dive in, shall we? Hi, gorgeous. Welcome to another episode. Now, I have not been eavesdropping on you, I swear to God. But I know what you've been thinking about. Dun, dun, dun. That sounds so creepy when you say it like that. But I can tell you what you've been thinking about most in your life. All you have to do is look at your life. Look at your life circumstances. Look at all the things that you've got, all the things that you haven't got. Look at your biggest stresses and your deepest joys, the things that light you up, the things that piss you off. That is what you've been thinking about. Okay, I know it sounds completely obvious, but what it means is that the people, the things, the situations, the objects, the patterns that keep repeating themselves, the things that dominate your experience of life on a day-to-day basis, whether it's good or bad, that's where your focus is, but it's also where it has been. In other words, what you think about most, you get more of. Now, that's hard for a lot of us to accept because we don't want to think that the things that we think about create our reality. We'd rather usually perceive ourselves as kind of hapless victims of circumstance. But it's true that, even though you may not like what's biggest in your world right now, what's most affecting you, whether that's difficult relationships or, financial hardship or wobbly health, it is usually as a result of where our focus has been, of what we've been thinking about. And love, if life is kicking your ass right now, then I genuinely do feel for you. I really do. We have all been there. Some of us are there right now. It sucks. But even if life is kicking your ass, you do still get to choose what you're going to focus on. Even if it seems incredibly difficult, it is still a choice. I think that's the thing that's really tough to accept, actually. So there's a Cherokee parable, which you may have heard of before, about the battle between two wolves. And it goes like this. This is a version, by the way, written by Charlie Gilkey in Thrive Global. It goes like this. One evening, an elderly Cherokee man told his grandson about a battle that goes on inside people. He said, "My son, the battle is between two wolves inside us all. One is evil. It is anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other wolf is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith." The grandson thought about it for a minute and then he asked, "Grandpa, which wolf wins?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one that you feed." Now, I don't necessarily vibe with the terms good and evil. I don't really think they're terribly helpful. But what I do understand about this story, what I do agree with, is that it illustrates that whatever you give your focus to will win. It will increase. You'll get more of it. Energy flows where attention goes. I'm sure you've heard that expression. This is what some people refer to as the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is just a fact. It doesn't care whether you're thinking about something good, bad, or indifferent. It doesn't discriminate between the things that you want, the things that you don't want. It just delivers whatever you're thinking about most, whatever you're giving most of your emotional energy to, whether it's positive or negative. And it's not mystical, it's not magical, it's just the way the world works. It's the way the universe works. For example, have you ever seen a really cool car or a beautiful flower or, I don't know, a particular shade of blue or a coat that you want or anything that you just thought was the most fantastic thing? Like you become sort of positively obsessed about it, or a song that you really like. And then for days afterwards, for weeks even, you just keep seeing that thing, that car, that flower, that coat, that shade of blue. You just see it everywhere, or you hear that song everywhere. And, it can also work in reverse. So if there's like a particular song that you hate it with a passion every time it comes on, you immediately switch over the radio station. But then everywhere you go, you hear it playing on every station, in every shop, everywhere you go until you're, you're ready to like pull your own ears off. That's the law of attraction at work. And it's not just about getting things, it's also about getting situations or getting emotional states or patterns. In other words, whatever you give your attention to, whether it's positive attention or negative attention, it increases. Now, I heard something absolutely fantastic about the human body that illustrates how this works. So, this is about the human ear and the way that it perceives sound. When you focus on a particular sound, even in a cacophony of other sounds, that one sound is amplified within your ear. In other words, even if you walk into, a crowded bar and you hear there's music and there's all the people talking, and all the way across the other side of the bar, you hear your best mate's raucous laugh, you will be able to zone in and focus in on that sound, and it actually physically grows louder. It's amplified in your ear. I mean, I just think that the human body is so bloody clever. It really blows my mind, actually, how that happens. And that's also how a mother can identify her individual baby's cry out of a whole maternity ward of crying babies. She can tell exactly which one is hers because not just the physical body, but the mind is able to focus on that one element. And because of that intensity of focus and, of course, the emotional charge behind it, it increases, it grows greater, it's amplified. So, how can we use this law of attraction? How can we use our focus to get more of what we want and less of what we don't want? Well, let me offer you some guidance. So, in order to really fire up the law of attraction, you need to have two things in place. Number one, focus, and number two, an emotional charge. And remember, it's not biased. It will work positively or negatively. So if you have a particular emotional charge that might be negative, in other words, resentment or anger or, hatred even about a particular person or thing or situation, and every time you think about that, you feel emotionally charged up, riled up, you're giving it focus, energy, and attention. And you'll get more of it. Sorry, that's just the way it works. That's, how certain people get elected president. Not because they are great for the job, but because of the amount of emotionally charged focus, energy, and attention that goes in their direction. That's why I'm not even going to mention the name of that person. So if you find yourself regularly pissed off or often downbeat or depressed, or if you find yourself in the same bloody situation over and over again, ask yourself, where's my attention? Where's my focus going? Where's my energy going? If you're often anxious, for example, I mean, this is a really big one, actually. Ask yourself, what am I thinking about? The chances are, like most of us, you're probably thinking about everything that you don't want. So you're probably freaking yourself out over a worst case scenario. You're probably worrying about what will happen if that happens. You're, projecting your mind into the future and rehearsing the shittest situations that you can possibly imagine. You're nurturing a hurt until it becomes a wound. You're creating your own little torture chamber in your mind, and you're suffering for longer than you need to. So you get to choose. Now, you might need to choose several times a day. Most of us do. You might need to choose it over and over, but you do get to choose. Now, that doesn't mean that you deny your feelings. You know, that's not my thing at all. I'm a big advocate of people acknowledging that they feel bad. So never be afraid of your thoughts and feelings. We all have negative thoughts and feelings. They are as natural as pooping. We all do it. It's just a thing. But like pooping, better out than in. So we acknowledge it and we feel it briefly and we release it. And then we take our attention somewhere else. You do get to choose on a moment-by-moment basis. And it's quite good to practice catching yourself out. I do this often, I tell you what, actually, the time when I most find myself spiraling down negative thought patterns is when I'm driving or sometimes when I'm walking, which is really annoying because I love walking. That's like my self-care, my nurturing is getting out in the countryside and walking, fresh air, greenery, love all of that. But I often find that my mind will spiral and I'll get into arguments with people that I maybe met once 10 years ago, someone who cut me up in traffic or, someone who criticized me, or maybe even the situation that literally never took place. But I'm inventing it in my mind. And if you can catch yourself doing this, if you have this bad habit like I do, if you can catch yourself out and just say, shut up, stop it, just stop, and immediately take your focus elsewhere, take it to, the sky, the greenery, the flowers, the roof above your head, the lovely smell of fresh baked bread, or whatever you have got in your immediate environment or in your mental environment that you can focus on and think about instead. That's the way to use the law of attraction for your benefit. Like I say, the law of attraction works for positive or for negative things, for wanted things and unwanted things. So make sure that you're using it for your own good. Take your focus where it needs to go and remove it from all of that other crap that you probably don't need to think about. And as ever, I know it's simple, doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. Sometimes you might need a cheerleader to encourage you to steer your thoughts more in the direction of things that you want rather than things that you don't want. And that's what I'm here for. So if you need some help, get in touch. And in the meantime, I'm sending you lots and lots of love. See you soon. Thanks for listening to Rowdy and Real with me, Sophie Shaw. This podcast is intended for educational and vaguely entertaining purposes and is not a replacement for counselling, psychotherapy or coaching. Please take responsibility for your mental health and ask for the help you need. You're fabulous and you deserve to be happy. If you'd like to stay in touch, then please visit norwichtherapy.co.uk and join the mailing list to receive a gorgeous free meditation straight into your inbox. And if you'd like to chat with me about your stuff, then please book yourself a free 30-minute call at sophieshaw.as.me/free call, and we'll start making a plan for your happiness. Bye.